All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for your patience. Welcome to the Tuesday, October 14, 2025 Montgomery Township Board of Education meeting. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to reconvene in open session.
So moved. Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to reconvene in open session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Sorry. All those opposed? Same right? Any abstentions? Motion carried. Roll call, please, Mr. Chaliano.
Dr. Wang,
Here.
Ms. Dowling,
Here.
Spina,
Present.
Director Herman,
Present.
Ms. Vilak, Ms. Harris,
Here.
Ms. Left Jernigan, Ms. Norgan,
Here.
Mr. Todd.
Here.
Thank you.
Please rise as we salute the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we'll have a Montgomery Township School District student representative report from our new student representative.
Good evening. My name is Orhan Agarwal, and to begin, I'd like to reflect on this month, October. The start of the month saw several successful events, including Homecoming Week, where the pep rally, football game, and homecoming games had great turnout and school spirit. Now, a more specific event took place in Mr. English's AP Chemistry class, where students completed a hands-on spectroscope lab activity covering emission spectra and atomic structure. On October 10th, World Mental Health Day took place, where the community emphasized awareness around mental health resources. The following day was National Coming Out Day, where the PAC and allies successfully highlighted the importance of inclusion and support. The following activities and events are scheduled for the rest of the month. The Think Fast Assembly is on October 16th, and freshmen will participate in an interactive assembly focused on bullying and mental health. Diwali on October 19th is a celebration where people celebrate the importance of good versus evil, and the school will celebrate cultural diversity within the community. On October 21st, it's the PSAT, where grades 10 and 11 will take this standardized assessment, and it's an important step for college readiness. Now, this is an event I'm looking forward to. It's called Trunk or Treat, and it's the annual community event within clubs, and the environmental club is planning a Moana-themed trunk, and other clubs are doing their own themes to promote creativity and sustainability. Picture Day retakes take place on October 30th, and lastly, Halloween. Everyone knows Halloween on October 31st, where celebrations and costumes will be encouraged to add to school spirit. Now, some insights that I've gathered are regarding, the first one, it's regarding towards academic support. We see an opportunity to increase the visibility and use of the National Honor Society tutoring program. Their interest meeting this Friday will kick off, and more students would hopefully be involved, so that way people can utilize this resource and students should take advantage. Now, also, student feedback suggests a minor need to review the assignment load, specifically the volume of required reading related to heavy or critical social topics, like racism in the English curriculum. We recognize the importance of these topics for understanding social issues, and the focus of the feedback is on balancing the depth to this issue with the overall length of reading assignments. Additionally, students expressed interest in exploring a broader range of perspectives on racism, including diverse cultural, historical, and global viewpoints, to deepen their understanding of this topic. Now lastly, many students are unaware of helpful digital resource applications that can assist with managing their academic workload. Specifically, there's many resources out there like the to-do list on Google Classroom, the Notes app on iPhone, and I'm sure there's a variation on Samsung, and Google Calendar. Thank you.
Thank you, Orhan. Let's give him a round of applause. Good job. All right, next up, Superintendent's report and presentation. Superintendent McLaughlin.
Good evening, everyone. At the high school, this past Saturday, U.S. Bands in Somerville, our marching band took first place in their group and swept the Caption Awards for Best Music, Best Overall Effect, Best Visual, and Best Percussion. We are so proud of our talented students and dedicated staff. Way to represent Montgomery with excellence. Our Unified PE students kicked off October by exploring the many powerful initiatives happening this month for disability awareness. In small groups, they've researched key topics and created eye-catching infographics to educate and inspire the community. Check out the MHS Cougar Den on Instagram for their infographics celebrating AAC, which is Augmentative and Alternative Communication Awareness, Down Syndrome Awareness, and Blindness Awareness. We're proud of the students for learning, collaborating, and advocating for inclusion and understanding. October at UMS brings some important traditions. This week, the 8th graders are up at Camp Mason. Mr. Cardi keeps sending me pictures. Continuing the UMS pastime of over 35 years. Students are experiencing outdoor environmental education while building their own resilience through positive risk-taking and learning the importance of teamwork through community-building activities. Also this week, our 7th graders will be building their own community through the tradition of Pumpkin Day, a day dedicated to the UMS core values of community, acceptance, resilience, and empathy, all around fall themes. In the world of academics, the UMS students are making strong progress through the opening units of the curriculum. In 7th grade science classes, students are experiencing hands-on activities to learn more about cell and life functions. In social studies, the 8th graders are using primary sources as they prepare for UMS's own Road to the Revolution. The end of September and the start of October have brought tremendous productivity and positive energy to LMS. Students are now well into their routines, and it's wonderful to see classrooms buzzing with engagement and learning. Picture Day was a great success. Special thanks to the PTO for their organization and support. Planning is already underway for the upcoming PTO-sponsored Monster Mash Fall Bash, which is scheduled for Friday, October 24th. This promises to be a fun and memorable community event. The LMS community helpers continue to shine, working closely with one another and with administration to ensure that every 5th and 6th grader feels a genuine sense of belonging at LMS. It's inspiring to see our students taking leadership roles in building such a caring and inclusive school culture. During the week of October 6th through 10th, Village celebrated the Week of Respect. Each day, students took part in morning meetings, discussions, and activities that highlight the importance of kindness and respect. Villagers began the week by learning what respect looks like and sounds like in the school community, then explored how to show respect for ourselves and others. Midweek, students focused on respecting diversity by celebrating the many unique qualities that make them each special. The week wrapped up with a fun, no-drama pajama day, reminding students that staying calm, solving problems peacefully. Through these activities, students practice the skills and attitudes that help build a caring, welcoming school environment. The MHS peer leaders visited some of the classrooms to share lessons on respect. In addition, throughout this month, Village school counselors are facilitating classroom lessons that focus on making sure we treat each other with respect and kind words so everyone can feel safe and comfortable in school. Parents can help by engaging students in discussions at home so students can show respect and compassion throughout the year for themselves and others in our school and in our global community. Here at OHES, the Cubs just completed their annual Week of Respect as well. Students spent time celebrating all the ways they can show respect towards one another and the rest of the school community. On the 7th, students had the option of bringing in something from home that represents their culture or background to increase understanding and awareness of the diversity that makes OHES a special place. The first graders are hard at work building routines and developing habits of strong readers, which includes reading strong and long solving tricky words and talking about their books with a peer. That's what's going on in our schools. I now have a couple of presentations. Mr. Italiano, I'm going to go to the podium with Mr. Delgado. Okay, enrollment has come up in the last couple of board meetings, so I did a 4-year enrollment comparison. As you can see, I did school year 22, 23, 23, 24, 24, 25, and currently this year. The numbers used were the numbers of students in each of the grades at the end of the school year, except for obviously the school year. It was from about a week ago. So as you can see, so people can have an understanding why enrollment is dipping, there's a couple of things in play. So if you look, last year we graduated 432 seniors, and we enrolled in kindergarten 183. So there seems to be, the enrollment coming in is much lower than the students being graduated out. If you take a look at, we could pick, let's say, third grade from 22, 23. We had 303 third graders. The following year, the fourth graders, which is that same cohort, we had 327, then 334, then back down to 333. So it kind of stayed the same, went up a little. You could take sixth grade, right? It went 389, 397, 398, 407, seventh grade, 358, 367, 364, 362, kind of staying in the ballpark. Ninth grade went from 401, 397, 399 to 410, which is what they are currently as 12th graders. So there's been an increase in that grade. They're not very significant if you look cross down. I had to do my own color chart so I didn't get messed up on the different, how to look at it. The other thing I wanted to point out from our demographic study, so the numbers, so the district on the bottom there, where it says the total enrollment, like right now we have 4,326, give or take a couple of kids because this is a week old. The number below that is projected without the new developments that were planned prior to 22-23 school year. So without the developments, if you see, we should currently, was projected in the demographic study, have 4,412 students. We are a little below that. Projected with the developments, we should have 4,487 by the end of this year. Now, as you can see, we're below that as well. The number of, there were 6 new developments in the projects in development when this demographic study was done. So currently 2 of them are completed. Oops, sorry. And of those 2, we were projected to have 53 additional students. So looking up at that number projected with, that was with all the projects being done, and there's only 2 of the 6. And the future developments coming in, there's 4 more, and the projected number of students from the demographic study show that we should have an increase of 203 more students once all of those are completed. So I just wanted to point that out, to show everyone the enrollment, and take a look at that. Okay. Next report is nothing to project. You could put Corey's up and just leave it there if you wanted to. So my report to the board on the SSDS, which is the Student Safety Data System for the 24-25 school year, period 2. As you remember, I report this out twice a year. So this is from January of 2025 to June of 2025 for the 24-25 school year, period 2. So as part of the New Jersey Department of Education requirement to submit the Student Safety Data System, SSDS report information, I will be reporting out tonight on report period 2 for the 24-25 school year. Report period 2 covers January through June 2025. The incidents covered in the state report are identified as violence, vandalism, substances, weapons, and HIV. So at Montgomery High School, there were 21 total incidents reported, with the majority reported under the category of substances. Other incidents were included were fighting and HIV confirmed. At UMS, there were 31 total incidents reported, with most incidents falling in the category of HIV. At Lower Middle School, there were 24 incidents reported, with incidents being reported under the category of HIV confirmed, fighting, and vandalism. At Village, there were 2 total incidents reported, both of which fell under the category of HIV confirmed. And for Orchard Hill Elementary School, there were no HID confirmed incidents and no incidents that fall under the categories of violence, vandalism, or substances. So that's my report out for the SSDS report for period 2 for the 24-25 school year. And now I'm going to invite Mr. Delgado up to talk about the HIV investigations, trainings, and programs for the same period of time.
Thank you, Mary. I'm going to just keep it with the data. As Mary stated, per statute, we report out every fall on the previous year's period 2, January to June. HIV data regarding investigations, trainings, and programs.
On the side.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to try to be quick. He turned it on. I know this board is well versed in the statute, so I'm just, like I said, going to stick to the data. I'm going to pause here for a second just to commend our anti-bullying specialists in the district. They really are experts in the process and in the students, so they go through 2 trainings a year and many investigations, and they do it with such diligence and empathy, I might add. So just a moment to acknowledge them, take a look at those names. They work incredibly hard to make sure that they do this right and do it with a heart. Period 2 had 142 investigations across the district. 11 of those were affirmed, 15 were rejected. You might recall last year we had a policy change where we allowed for preliminary determination by the principal and the anti-bullying specialist to be part of the process. So what that means is 15 HIV complaints went through a preliminary determination process and were ruled out of the HIV investigation and handled strictly through code of conduct. So again, that doesn't mean it wasn't addressed. It was just addressed through code of conduct because it did not meet surface level criteria warranting an investigation. Moving into trainings, trainings are geared for staff. So trainings are to help staff implement the policies and the procedures of the statute. Most of us receive trainings from our attorney, from our HR director, our assistant superintendent of HR, from our building administration, as well as our professional organizations. There were 13 trainings that took place across the district during period 2. Moving into programs, programs are geared for students. So that is a single event or a series of events that are designed to foster a more inclusive, welcoming environment. Here's some examples, just examples of some of the many programs that we ran during period 2. Our peer leadership outreach at Montgomery High School, the community rallies at Upper Middle School, the morning meetings at Lower Middle School, offer visits at Village Elementary School, and the Great Kindness Challenge at Orchard Hill. Again, just some examples. There were 38 programs all in total across the district during period 2. We were busy. Districts also have to submit a self-assessment. Each building conducts a self-assessment every spring or fall for the previous year. That's done with the principal and their school safety team. There's a total of 78 possible points based on these 8 elements. It's really measured on how well we implement policy and procedure. It doesn't have anything to do with how many investigations we had, confirmed, not confirmed. It's really about our policies and procedures. Our district average was 76 out of 78. That's pretty good. If you take a 5-year look back, pretty consistent from year to year. And that is the HIV ITP report for period 2. Thank you.
Does the board have any questions from the SSDS report or the HIV ITP programs? Thank you. Mr. Italiano, do you want to introduce Mashios or Mr. Koch?
At this time, we'll have an update from Mashios, our food service vendor.
Good evening. Thank you for having us, school community, Montgomery Township Board. Thank you for having us present this evening. Before we jump into the updates, I just wanted our team to introduce themselves. My name is Patty Fragidakis, and I am the Director of Operations with Mashios.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Frank Maschio, President of Mashios Food Services, and thank you very much for your business. We really appreciate it.
Good evening. I'm Katie Filosa, the Director of Field Supervision for Mashios.
Good evening, I'm Brian Erdman, our Director of Purchasing.
Good evening, everyone. Lorraine Kunick, Director of Nutrition for Mashios.
Hello, everyone. Nora Borza, Regional Lead. Good evening. Susan Hollis, Area Supervisor.
Good evening, my name is Lawrence Troxel, I'm the Food Service Director here for Montgomery District.
Good evening, Michael D. Simone, District Chef.
Good evening. Jessica Petrosky, District Chef.
Travel in packs here. We all play an important role in bringing the best program to your school district. Jessica, the last one to introduce herself, is our newest addition here. You have two district chefs at Montgomery Township. Last year, Chef Michael was with us. Chef Michael's still with us, but we have Jessica, and they're making their rounds to the different schools, training, honing culinary skills of our staff, and they're also bringing chef days. So our first chef days were in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month in September. So we had chef days at each of the schools where the students could create their own meal. We actually handed out a newsletter which will be featured on the school food service portal of the website tomorrow. So all of the school community can view it. We also had Farm to School, New Jersey Fresh Farm to School Week that took place starting from September 22nd until the 26th. We featured local produce, especially in that week, and it is highlighted on the school menus. We actually have a sample that we prepared this evening, and which we featured on September 26th, which is a local tomato and zucchini panzanella salad. So we do have samples for you to try, and we featured that at all of the schools on the 26th. We also participated in all of the back-to-school nights. So we got good relevant feedback from the families that attended, whether there's questions for allergies or menu questions, where to find the portal to make online payments. We were there to answer any questions that the families had. We also will be starting our food advisory meetings coming up. So we do hold at least 2 in a school year. It is required for 1, but we like to have 1 in the fall, 1 in the spring. And what that is an opportunity for families and students to provide feedback, menu planning, to have a little educational component too, to learn about the school meals program. Chef Jessica's passing samples around. So those will start in this month, later on this month, and then we'll have another set in the spring. And we also have Chef Days coming up this month as well. We're going to have a Pan-Asian theme bar, again, a create your own, where the kids could come up to their line and customize their own menu items. Those are some updates that we have in the school district. Thank you.
I want to ask the board members if they have any questions we have the whole team here, from the nutritionists to the chefs. I brought them out as a follow-up from our visit in June. The feedback that I've had is positive this year. I want to see if you have any questions, any feedback from your children or residents that you would like to address the Mashios team.
So, as the nutritionist, I'm sure it's a very tough job. How does that role shift from school to school?
So through all of our schools, we definitely follow the USDA guidelines, so that is something that is concrete amongst all of our school districts. But as the director of nutrition, especially for Montgomery District, obviously we're taking into account students' likes and dislikes and seeing how we can incorporate that more into the meal program. So this way, not only are we following the federal guidelines, but we're following exactly what, you know, the students' likes and dislikes are. So that definitely shifts amongst the school districts. So it's not like a one-size-fits-all. So, you know, depending on our feedback, depending on what we get from students from our food advisory committee meetings, all of that plays into a role to see how we can incorporate it into the meal program. You're welcome.
So in the food advisory committee meetings for the students, those are for the students to partake in as well?
So it's for the school community. So parents are invited. Typically, the school principal will invite parents. Sometimes board members attend, administrators, and the students. They're actually coming up. So October 24th. Oh, certainly. And a lot of the feedback, we revisit our menus. We'll make changes to incorporate what they request, and sometimes even remove items they don't want to see again. So, you know, the pros and cons, we need all of the feedback. We ask for honest feedback at these meetings because we want to customize the program for the school population.
Can I just add something to that? We actually did something in this school district, was it last year or the year before, where a student recommended a certain meal, an ethnic meal, and we put it on the menu and we advertised it as such that this was based on the feedback from the food advisory committee meeting. And that student who recommended it, I'll never forget his face. He was first in line that day for lunch and he absolutely loved it. So he was very excited to see it. So those are the types of things that we do. Absolutely. Very good.
I have a question for your chef day, and do you see increased students who purchase on that day? How was the feedback, and if it's positive, you guys think bring it back more often?
Yes, we always see a much increase in student participation in chef days. One, they just like seeing the chefs. I mean, that's first and foremost. They love seeing the chef in the chef jacket. But it opens them up to new menu options and making their own choices. You know, they really love it. So that's why we're doing them actually monthly this year. So we're trying now, we have 2 wonderful district chefs, so we're gonna do it monthly. So yes, we do see increased participation.
I just wanted to thank you all for being very receptive and working in partnership with the business administrator's office. I know it was a rough start, and the only person I know is Hugh that is still in the group, and it seems like you have a new team of people, and I want to thank you all for really putting more thought and careful thought into the meals for the students, because that's really very important for us.
Just kind of a small question. Thank you for your service, of course. Do you do anything special to celebrate the holidays, and kids can purchase a special item for that holiday?
Yes, we love celebrations, right? That it increases the excitement in the cafeterias. And one of the surveys that we do share at the food advisory meeting is what celebrations would you like to see in your schools, so that we can highlight them.
I'll ask a question for parents. What are some of the favorite meals for the
Tacos, burritos, always very popular. This week we're doing a Pan-Asian theme bar throughout the district. Yeah, the theme bars seem to be very popular, but definitely tacos, burritos, quesadillas.
And the s'mores cookies are
Just a quick question. Thank you for your service. I'm sure every district struggles with this, but I'm wondering if there's something that we can do on our end.
I do hear once in a while that all the good stuff gets taken by the time the kids get through the entire line. So is there something that we could do on our end to help make sure that more kids, you know, that are towards the back of the line receive the same types of items that are at the front of the line? I don't know if that's an answer to the question, but thanks.
Yes. So our rule with Mashues is whatever the first student in line gets, the last student in line gets that same opportunity. So if you are hearing this, certainly come to us. We do keep production records, so we keep track of the popular items, what's left, so that we can increase PARs the next time.
Thank you.
Just when you were talking about those cookies, some more cookies, I noticed that, you know, my kids will come home and there'll be like 2 in a pack, or maybe they'll eat 1 in school, bring 1 home, things like that. When you were talking about portions and things like that, I'm just trying to think about being mindful. How does that work as far as when you were talking about the nutrition amongst all the different buildings and ages, you know, why not do maybe 1 cookie versus the 2? I'm just curious the thought process behind it. I know one idea I was entertaining, you know, could we somehow limit some of the, because our goal is good nutrition right throughout the school day. Having like maybe the sweets, the ice cream, things like that, to make it more of a special, like, you know, I don't know, well, there's no kids here, but like, you know, Ice Cream Tuesday or Friday or something like that. I mean, are there programs or ways that we can be creative? And I know that was something I had reached out about. We can work with you guys on creating something, or if there's like, I guess, a need as well, maybe we'll find out more at the Food Advisory Committee as well.
We always encourage balance in all of our schools as well. Included with the main meal are fresh fruits and vegetables. There is a wide assortment out every day in all of the schools, and it is included with their main lunch. So when students come through the line, they can pick and choose up to 2 fruits and vegetables to take with them. And correct me if I'm wrong, but snacks are something that can be taken after they get their lunches, so that they can come through. But we can certainly talk about other options for students and get the feedback at the Food Advisory.
Perhaps, I think you may have mentioned this last time, at the younger grades, maybe at Orchard Hill, when they're still learning how to make those choices.
Absolutely.
And getting a little bit more assistance perhaps.
We also incorporate the Farm to School, which also we promote samples and help with having the kids experiment with new items as well. So.
Well, on behalf of the board, we'd certainly like to thank you. Thank you for all you do for the district. Thank you for this wonderful salad. It was delicious. And I guess some of us will see you next week at New Jersey School Board's Workshop. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, next up, committee representative reports. First up, MTA report, Mr. Rizzoli.
Good evening. I am Mike Rizzoli, President of the Montgomery Township Education Association. I am representing over 600 educators and support professionals working in the district. I'm here tonight to correct some misinformation that has been circulating about contract negotiations. As the board is aware, the MTA has been working under an expired contract since July 1st. Despite this, and despite rumors to the contrary, MTA members have been doing their jobs and doing them well. We come to work each day, face the challenges presented by this profession, and give our all. And we continue to do so, even though we are frustrated by the lengthy process and some board members' unwillingness to reach an amicable resolution. We continue to work long hours above and beyond contracted workday to provide an excellent educational experience for the students we work with. We do what we do for one reason only. We care about the school district. So here's my question for you. What do you want for Montgomery students? Because we should be striving for the same thing. We should both want the best schools, the best classroom materials, and the best employees. And we should both want all stakeholders to be treated with one another with respect. We should both want teachers, secretaries, custodians, paraprofessionals, and other educational employees paid what they are worth, and who are appreciated by the Board of Education they partner with because they are seen as an investment in the school's ongoing success. We've earned it, and we worked hard for it. and we deserve to be secure providers for our own families, just like everyone else. That's why it's tough to stand by and watch you spend needless amounts of money on things like legal fees for frivolous matters, while simultaneously telling your staff that you have little to no money for raises. Or worse, to stand by while you expect us to continue to do a number of things for this district for free, while our counterparts in surrounding districts are fairly compensated for the same work. I ask you tonight to show us the respect by making negotiations with the association a priority. I ask you to stop misrepresenting the issues surrounding bargaining and instead focus your energies on securing a fair contract for your staff. This is about more than just a settlement. This is about ensuring the Montgomery Township School District can thrive. And that cannot happen unless this board corrects course. So I'm urging you to stop engaging in petty actions and spreading misinformation and work to settle this contract. Be the role models this community led you to be. Frankly, Montgomery deserves better.
Thank you, Mr. Rizzoli. Do we have any board member, delegate, or representative reports tonight?
Yes. The Municipal Alliance met last night, and some of the things that were already mentioned were the Think Fast that's coming up this week at the schools, as well as the trunk or treat, as well as our inclusive playground ribbon cutting ceremony that's going to be happening at the municipal building. So that is not part of the school district, but that is part of the Municipal Alliance, and it is for everyone, all ages. And the ribbon cutting will be on October 24th at 4 p.m. People should come out and support that. Carrier Clinic is hosting a Walk of Hope this weekend, October 18th at 9 a.m. At the end of the month, we'll be celebrating Red Ribbon Week, and the Municipal Alliance has generously supported the schools with banners for each of the schools, and obviously this is coinciding with Anti-Suicide Prevention Month, and I'm just trying to make sure I get them all because there were quite a few. Depression Awareness Month, Substance Abuse Prevention Month, World Mental Health Day, which was on October 10th, which was wonderful, and there was a lot of wonderful information provided last night at this meeting. The Municipal Alliance was excited that we were able to pass the Hope Squad, and that is underway, getting ready, planning for hopefully a January or February launch. A lot of other of the things that we discussed there focused around, there's another Walk for Wellness, by the way, it's in November, Trekking to Heal Trauma, and that will be with Stephanie Lockenauer, who also, as the former Teacher of the Year, has just put out, we're all very excited, Let the Glitter Settle, so we talked about that. So the meeting, and having always talking about some of the mental health and heavier topics, and substance abuse prevention, it's always interesting to hear everybody's perspective sitting around the table there. We have representatives from our law enforcement, from local churches, and students, teachers. And it's wonderful to know that all of these people are always there supporting our students and this community so well. Thank you for those teachers that were there last night, volunteering of their time to be there and to talk about the mental health and substance abuse prevention that they go so far to do for our students. I'm really appreciative of that as a mom of tweens and teens in this area. So is there anything else? Oh, and this was a little bit scary, but I think that it's important enough to mention. There was some reporting of things that, you know, are out there that are new sort of kind of substances that are being marketed to our children and to, if you have college-age children as well, something named Kava, which is an herbal supplement that gets added to drinks, and we have a Kava bar that opened up nearby in New Hope. So that's something that, you know, that's a very interesting thing. And there's two others as well, Phenibut and hydroxynitrogenine. I'm sorry to say that I can't say all of these, but these are things that are being you know, marketed to kids in ways through social media and through other things that we really all should kind of know about and be really diligent to protect our students and our young people against. So I am always grateful to go to that meeting whenever I get to be the alternate for it. It's always a wealth of information, and thank you for letting me report out on it.
Thank you, VP Sweeney. Sorry. Any other questions? Any other reports?
I do.
I just had a small question. So you said Kava, right?
Kava, K-A-V-A.
Isn't that a sparkling wine?
No, that's C-A-V-A. I really like that. Prosecco too.
At a restaurant, I have.
That just came back from Spain, so I had a lot of that.
That's very good.
Board members right now, don't tell them so.
Thank you.
Board Member Harris.
Thank you. So I'm speaking on behalf of the PTSA. At their meeting, they placed a huge emphasis on increasing. Sorry. Is this better? Can you hear me? Okay. So the PTSA, at their meeting, they placed a huge emphasis on, again, increasing membership. It truly makes a huge difference, even if families can't volunteer their time. By simply joining, it helps grow programs and opportunities for the students. So that was something they asked that was, that message was shared. Also, is this better? Sorry.
There you go.
At OHES and BES at the elementary schools, there's a couple of fundraisers. The I'm going to say this wrong. Madalena's Cheesecake Sale, and that's going through October 28th. And also at LMS and UMS, they have the Pie fundraiser through November 8th. And also LMS is having a Monster Mash Fall Bash end of October for the students. And UMS is having a sports night at Iron Peak end of November. And the PTA and PTO are very excited to combine their elementary and middle schools to do a community event. And they would like to remind everyone about the rescheduled kickball community event that will be at Orchard on Wednesday, October 22nd at 4:30. And last, just another reminder, the best way to gather any sort of information is to always go to the website for the most up-to-date information and look for additional future events there, as well as anything that needs any knowledge about the school, and to be mindful of the WhatsApp apps and information that's gathered that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Harris. Any questions for Board Member Harris? Hearing none, we'll move to board committee reports, and this will be brief. HRC did not meet this month, and the chairs of OFF and PCC are not here. Did you have anything on PCC?
Do you want to? PCC is here. PCC
Oh,
tomorrow.
it's coming soon. Okay, thank you.
What is the date? Yeah, Thursday.
So we'll have Assessment Curriculum and Instruction Committee, Board Member Dowling.
Good evening. The ACI committee met on September 19th. The first agenda item was our review of current norms. We reviewed current norms and made slight revisions that were suggested to better state our intentions as a committee. Statements include place students first, our own intentions and own your own intentions and impacts, and disagree with the idea and not the person. Tone matters. We then talked about early literacy, an NJ DOE mandate that's coming up. One of the biggest changes in testing until now, there has been no reportable state testing assessment data before first grade. Now there is a K-3 mandatory STAR testing, which includes testing in phonics, phonemic awareness, decoding, and comprehension. all early literacy skills. The early bird screening will be used in kindergarten, moving to the STAR early literacy in first grade that also aligns with our current 2nd through 10th grade data. Screening will take place in September and October, and data will be shared with families in November. The assessments are a hybrid between computer-based adaptive assessments and one-on-one teacher-student testing. All students will be monitored in the fall, winter, and spring, and students below the benchmark will have additional midpoint progress checks. Montgomery received a $10,000 focus grant to offset the cost of these assessments. And in addition, all school districts throughout the state are required to participate in field testing for the NJSLA adaptive and the NJGPA adaptive assessments. The testing window is from October 27th to November 14th, with several no testing dates in between. District testing administrators receive training in preparation for these tests, and Mr. Papa created an FAQ for the school community about these tests, and the ACI committee reviewed it and shared comments and feedback. So please look on the website for the FAQ on all new assessments. The tech department of the district also participated in training in preparation for this testing platform. It's called Cambium. The tech department downloaded the testing portal to Chromebooks, ran network diagnostics, and whitelisted all required sites. We then talked about senior seminar college application process. The district ran student seminars on the college application process. They offered a YouTube live session for parents. 120 attended, and it is also posted on our website. This year, Naviance training will take place for all freshman students, and it will be revisited in the sophomore year. Next, we talked about Student Assistance Coordinator, which is a new position for UMS. This position counsels students individually and also focuses on preventative programs. Christine Grossman, I hope I'm saying that correctly, previously at the high school, will take on this new role at UMS. We then spoke about programmatic updates, special class programs at all 5 schools, which include emotional regulation impairment, language and learning disability, autism, and multiple disabilities. Disproportionality at Montgomery is not significantly disproportionate this year, but is in the 2nd warning year for ERI, emotional regulation impairment. Funding this year will continue to support UDI and regulation strategies in the classroom coaching area. Dr. Fergus and his team from Rutgers will provide 3 site visits this school year, and we will continue to be monitored by the state. The state monitors state classifications, and a district can be cited as having an over-classification number in different areas. Then we spoke about Special Education Parent Advisory Committee. They are still looking for volunteers. Parent presentations are scheduled, which include unpacking IEPs, assistive tech, and a presentation in collaboration with Princeton School District. All are encouraged to attend. Special Olympics awarded Montgomery with a Unified Champion School Award at the high school. Congratulations. And yay. And lastly, we spoke about placement. This was a question that was brought up by one of the ACI committee members. The principals shared their approach and criteria of placing students into different homerooms and classrooms each year. Each school works collaboratively as an admin team with input from teachers, parents, and other stakeholders. The goal is, of course, to create as heterogeneous clusters as possible. Suggestions were made to list teachers by grade level on the website to ensure friendly faces for everyone, and parents are asked to be proactive versus reactive with their classroom suggestions. Any questions or comments on ACI? We covered a lot. Thank you.
I would just like to say that the Special Education Department did a wonderful presentation of all of the programs and unpacking the IEP this past month as a part of community outreach. Went over a lot of the same things that you heard during ACI, and I think that it's great. And I know Michelle Jarimer, but I'm blanking on the person's name again who did the presentation. Dr. Apollo. She did a wonderful job. Really, it was really so informative, and in speaking to other parents that were there, it was almost like any parent of a child with an IEP should almost be mandated to
sit through a presentation like that to really understand what it is, how you can best collaborate and partner with the schools to, to always just be together for the best interests of the student. It was really great.
And to advocate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions for Board Member Dell?
I don't think I have a question, but during the meeting, I believe we talked about there are two new mandated assessment from the state, right? And the one, as you said, is the early literacy and the field test. So if parents wondering why we have some assessment, those are the newly added ones.
I think I mentioned that at the beginning. Yeah. Many new assessments. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, at this time, I entertain a motion to accept September 16, 2025 executive session minutes and September 16, 2025 business meeting minutes.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call please, Mr. Chaliano.
Dr. Wang.
Here.
Ms. Dowling.
Yes.
Ms. Spino.
Yes.
Franklin Herman.
Yes.
Ms. Harris.
Yes.
Ms. Norga.
Yes.
Mr. Todd.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
At this time, the board acknowledges the correspondence to the board. Action agenda items, public comments. The Board of Education welcomes and encourages input from the public. Members of the public are allotted one opportunity to address the board regarding the action agenda items only for up to a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker. All comments must be directed to the board. Before you make your comment, please state your full name and address and enter both on the Chromebook provided. Being mindful of privacy rights regarding students, board employees, and board members, and to avoid any liability on the part of the speaker, the board discourages defamatory and discourteous remarks. The public comment portions of the meeting are not structured as question and answer sessions, but rather are offered as opportunities for the public to share their thoughts with the board. The board may need to refer an issue to the superintendent if the issue has not been handled through the appropriate chain of command, usually starting at the school level. Responses may be provided at the end of this session. If you are speaking on the action agenda items, please state the number of the action agenda item. Any comments? Hearing none, public portion of the action agenda items is now closed.
Okay, before we move to the action agenda section of our agenda, I have to read a walk-up item into our agenda. It's under the finance section. It's going to be item 3.20. It reads as follows. Award lease purchasing financing for school buses. Resolved that the board awards the lease purchase financing bid held on October 9, 2025 to pay for 7 new school buses to Cogent Leasing and Financing Incorporated at an interest rate of 3.48%, subject to successful review of the lease purchase documentation by the board's counsel prior to execution by the business administrator.
Thank you. At this time, I entertain a motion to accept action agenda items 1.2 through 1.1, through 4.2.
So moved.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve action agenda items 1.2 through 1.1 through 4.2. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please, Mr. Chaliano.
Questions? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Tim, do you have a question? Just a quick question, and I don't know if it falls here, but under the facilities reports that we received back, we got high marks except for the wooded areas in the back of all 5 of our buildings, or I don't know if it's in the back, but adjacent to all of our 5 buildings. Is there an action item that needs to take place there, or?
So essentially, that's part of, every year you have to do an annual facility walkthrough.
Right.
I've always board approved them in my experience, and now it's a CUSAC year. I really wanted to kind of put it out there. That's a self-assessment, just like we do with our academics and things of that nature.
Okay.
So Mr. O'Neill, myself, and his team, we did a complete walk around of the buildings and the campus. And overall, they do a fantastic job, and everything is in good working order and great shape, but they had to honestly mark themselves that we need improvement in those areas, and they're continuously working on them. However, we have our walkthrough with the county business administrator and myself this Friday. So if we didn't give ourselves the mark that we thought, and they randomly checked things and they saw it differently, that would cause an issue, so we just reported out as we saw things.
So in terms of monetary implications, there's nothing right now that's highlighted in terms of something as an action item that we need to move
There's
on.
nothing like significant, like
Nothing
wow,
like
like roof repair identified through that, like
Right.
$1 million or like anything of that nature that's unbudgeted. No, these are just normal housekeeping items that we just need to try to stay on top of and do the best job we can.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
I had a question for 1.4 that file. So the scores there is the self-evaluation score, right? We're proving that tonight, right? For the QSEC.
Okay, so 1.4 essentially is basically the board stating, approving that we met as a committee to do the self-evaluation process of the DPR, which is the District Performance Review. It's required to be board approved and uploaded to the Department of Education before November 15th. So the board is acknowledging that the meeting took place with the QSAC committee. That's all that Resolution 1.4 is approving. Does that answer your question?
And that was a meeting that, as board president, I took.
I actually have a follow-up on 1.4.
Sure.
Just because it's something that we don't do, all of the time. And so all of the, and I just, sorry for looking at my phone because I noted it on there and I can't bring it up on here. But the 7 indicators, the 7 indicators for achievement scores under the DPR, those are blank at this point because those were, I just want to make sure I know in my head why.
Are you in the IEP portion, the instruction and program?
In the IMP program, those
instruction and, yes, 60% of it comes right from the state to the state themselves. We don't have any access to that. That's our test scores.
we can get a max out of 40 in that section right now.
And
that's what we
the
self-score
max that
ourselves.
we can score ourselves in.
Correct. Yes.
And then the state fills in the rest. And I just want to verify that that will get done because we're in a QSAC year this year. It's this year's scores that haven't even been tested yet, or
Last
is it
year's
last
scores.
year's scores? Last year's. Okay, thanks.
I have a question on 2.2. The last box, para plus translations. The rate changed from 63 to 147. Question is,
It's a range.
So for that one right there, like Mr. Todd said, depending on the service, it could fall between that range.
depending on the service.
Yeah, so if it's a
Or the
more basic
language.
service, or
And-
it's
or the
63.
language.
If it's more extreme service, it would be 147. So the approved negotiated rate falls between that range on a case-by-case basis.
Any other questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call please, Mr. Caliano.
Dr. Wang,
Yes.
Ms. Dowling,
Yes.
Ms. Spina,
Yes.
Ms. Franco Herman.
Okay, so 1.2 abstain for the 1000 to 2000 series. Abstain at 4 to 4.2, yes to everything else.
Noted, thank you. Ms. Harris,
Abstain 1.2 and 4 to 4.2 and yes to everything else.
noted, thank you. Ms. Norgren,
Yes.
Mr. Todd.
Yes.
Thank you, motion's carried.
Thank you, Mr. Caliano. New business from the public. The Board of Education welcomes and encourages input from the public. Members of the public are allotted one opportunity to bring any new business to the board for up to a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker. All comments must be directed to the board. Before you make your comment, please state your full name and address and enter both on the Chromebook provided. Being mindful of privacy rights regarding students, board employees, and board members, and to avoid any potential liability on the part of the speaker, the board discourages defamatory and discourteous remarks. The public comment portions of the meeting are not structured as question and answer sessions. The board may need to refer an issue to the superintendent if this issue has not been handled through the appropriate chain of command, usually starting at the school level. Responses may be provided at the end of this session.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Elliot Samble. I live at 14 Edgewood Drive in Belmead. I've lived in Montgomery Township since 2009, and I have 3 children. One graduated MHS in 2024, one is a senior, and one is a freshman at Pennington. The reason I'm up here tonight, this evening, is to question the board on why the Jewish Student Alliance remains the only Jewish club at MHS that remains formally unrecognized and unfunded. Just some brief background. In the summer of 2022, several MHS students decided to start the Jewish Student Alliance. The purpose of the club, like any cultural club, was meant to create a space for Jewish students to celebrate Jewish culture, traditions, and allow students of similar faith to interact, feel seen and included. It would also be inclusive for any student in MHS that wanted to learn about the Jewish culture. Jewish students are a significant minority at MHS, make it all the more important for these students to have a place that they could connect with other kids of the same faith. Sadly, many of these students, my children included, had experienced at least some form of anti-Semitism here in Montgomery. From a mental health perspective, which the district purports is a focus, the JSA was a much needed club at the high school. In 2022, after initial inquiries and some obstacles, they were able to start the club with Mr. Matthew Flug as the faculty advisor. He was not being paid at the time and was doing this voluntarily. The club was unfunded. The JSA created a set of bylaws, nominated a board, and began holding meetings. Meetings ranged anywhere from just being a time to hang out, to cooking Jewish cuisine, to discussing geopolitical events. Then came October 7th, 2023, the largest loss of life since the Holocaust, Israelis, mostly Jews. The district at that time sent out a very lukewarm email that at the time didn't even mention the word Israel or Jews. I actually sent an email to the board president at that time, who responded immediately, and another email was sent out to the community. At that time, the JSA became an invaluable asset for these students. We were so thankful that the club was established and could quickly gather to give the students a safe place to express their feelings surrounding these events. The membership increased. The kids had a place to go where they could share their feelings. So we fast forward to 2025, and the club remains unfunded. Now, the reason I'm up here today is because of this impasse with the negotiations, Mr. Flug can no longer be an advisor to these kids. So we are left without an advisor, and the JSA is unable to meet. So I'd like to ask the board to help me understand why the JSA, after almost 4 years, remains unfunded. I've been told that the...
Sorry, sir, that's time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Schaefer-Obey, and I live at 7 Montgomery Avenue, Rocky Hill. I have been a resident of Montgomery for my entire life. I grew up here and then made the decision to raise my own family here. I have 2 children in the school district, a recent graduate and a current high schooler. I've been an educator for the last 25 years, as well as a proud member of the MTEA. I feel compelled to speak tonight about the recent comments made by a current board member and the negative impact they've had on myself and my colleagues. In all my years in Montgomery, I've never felt such disregard or disrespect for what we do and for who we are. Montgomery has always been a place where collaboration and respect form the foundation of our success, especially when it comes to educating our students. Our strength has always come from the way all parts of this community work together for the benefit of children. To see that being chipped away by negativity and personal agendas is heartbreaking. It hurts to know that those who should be supporting us are instead choosing to tear us down. As a resident, a parent, and an educator, I have to say that this is not okay. I became a teacher because I believe in children, in hope, and the power of education to change lives. Every day, my colleagues and I give everything we have, our time, our hearts, and our energy to the students of Montgomery. We do this work because we care. To have that dedication dismissed is not only hurtful, it's unacceptable. We deserve respect. Montgomery deserves better.
Good evening. My name is Susan Bala. I live at 244 Stillman Road. I have been a resident of Montgomery for over 20 years. 2 proud graduates of Montgomery High School. And like many people in the community, We go to Facebook or the news, the Montgomery News, and those sources to find out information about our schools and to maybe inform us about who we're going to support or vote for school board. I take it very seriously who my vote goes towards. And I've been very disappointed to read some things on Facebook by current board members. Now, if you are campaigning, you can say what you need to say, but if you are currently on the board, you should be truthful. We all should be truthful. I teach technology and I teach my kids that what you post online is forever and what you post should be true and kind. And I was here last year for the budget discussions, and I listened to you debate and decide how you were going to fund the budget. And you did not fully fund the budget. You did not go to the highest option that you had. I was opposed to that, but that's what happened. And we lost staff members here. Some of those people are people that I know personally. And they were in the presentations, the cost of the cuts, and the positions were listed. So for board members to post publicly that the budget was fully funded and that no positions were cut is false. In addition, to then follow up in the comments that they didn't have enough information. So I'm left thinking, in your committees, did you not get the information to all the board members? Or are these board members just picking and choosing which information they want to listen to and which information they want to put out to the public? And it's very disturbing to me. And secondly, I would like to ask you to settle the contract. We have enough stress in schools. These teachers, these educators are working as hard as they can. This is the best district. I moved here for this district. And I'm very disheartened to see that we are at a point where we can't settle the contract. And things are floated out on Facebook that the teachers who are working voluntarily are somehow shortchanging our kids. They shouldn't have had to volunteer in the first place. They have families, they have other jobs that they need to work. They should not be put upon that they are the reason that these clubs are not happening. So I urge you to settle the contract and let these educators stop worrying about that and put all of their energy into the students as they want to do. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Chris Grundy. I live at 155 Bridgepoint Road. Good evening everyone. My name is Chris Grundy and I'm here with my wife Megan tonight in the hopes of eloquently expressing to the Board of Education what a special place Montgomery is. When I was a senior at the University of Scranton, I had never even heard of Montgomery. The only thing I knew was when I was looking for a teaching job, the Montgomery Township School District wanted to speak to me about their opening in special education. Fast forward 23 years later, and Montgomery has become not just my place of employment, but it has become my home. A home where Megan and I continue to raise our 3 children, a home where Megan's family all live within 5 miles of each other and are also raising their families as well. I never would have guessed when I interviewed at Montgomery in 2002 that this place, and in particular the people here, would have had the impact on my life that they have had. I've been fortunate enough to find best friends here. I've been fortunate enough to find mentors here. I've been fortunate enough to find trusted colleagues and confidants here, and I've been fortunate enough to truly prosper here, both as an educator and as a person. The teachers and administrators here are second to none, and I trust them with the most important part of my life, my children. Through our 28 combined years of education for our 3 children in this district, beginning at Kid Connection and continuing up to UMS, we have seen firsthand the love and care that these educators have for their students. We have worked closely with guidance, CST, teachers and administration at various points for all 3 boys, and in each of these situations, we trusted those that were responsible for our children to guide us, and each time they did not let us down. Now, I'm not up here trying to tell you not to question things. I mean, that's how you ascertain knowledge, is by questioning. But questioning for the sake of questioning, or questioning because you are looking for that I got you moment, is not healthy and does not help this district move forward in a positive direction. We need our administrative team and our teachers focused on continuing to make this place the amazing school district it is, not focused on answering email after email after email because you don't like the information or data that you received the first 2, 3, or 4 times. Instead, let's spend that time not micromanaging, but rather trusting the folks that have all of our children's best interest at heart. This is how we move this district forward in a positive direction. I stand before all of you today, honored to be a member of this Montgomery Township school community. I preach family all the time to my basketball team, and trust me when I tell you that there is no better family than those standing beside me tonight. Trust them and their decisions as it pertains to educating the wonderful children of our district. Take it from us, you will not be disappointed.
Hello, I am also a Chris, but Chris Resch. I have been a science teacher at Montgomery High School, and I'm honored to serve as the first vice president of the Montgomery Township Education Association. Teaching for me is a calling. In almost 2 decades here, I've only spoken at the board meeting twice. So when I do, it's because I care deeply about what is at stake. Lately, there have been a number of social media posts from board members about extracurricular activities. In one exchange, a board member wrote that teachers who volunteer to run clubs or coach teams make a free will commitment as role models, and that by standing up for ourselves, we are somehow showing students that their dreams can be crushed by the whim of a union. Additionally, some members of the board have accused us publicly of using students as leverage. I ask, when did standing up for respect and advocating for ourselves professionally become mistaken for selfishness? When did the motives of those who dedicate their lives to kids all of a sudden become suspect? Now, I completely agree that being a role model means showing integrity, accountability, and care for our students. That's exactly why so many of my colleagues and I choose to volunteer. We volunteer to advise clubs, coach teams, and mentor students because we know how much these experiences help kids find confidence, purpose, and belonging. We do it because we love what we do and because it's what's best for kids. I also agree that being a role model means following through with our commitments. We have always volunteered with the mutual understanding of club funding in 3 years for pay that often is minimum wage. Yet many volunteer clubs have passed this mark and continue to run unfunded despite administrative support. It was asked in these posts, what lessons are these kids learning? I submit the real lesson our students are seeing is that adults can stand up for fairness and respect and still show up for work every day with dedication, compassion, and heart. That's what it means to lead by example. Trust isn't built through statements alone, it's built through actions. We pour ourselves into this work because we care about what's best for kids. And our actions speak volumes. Right now, the board's words and actions don't quite match, and Montgomery deserves better. Thank you.
Jane Huebner, 29-year tax-paying resident of Montgomery Township. I'm the mother of 4 successful Montgomery High School graduates who completed their school K-12 in the district. This is the start of my 15th year as a content-certified chemistry teacher at MHS. I'm a proud member of the MTEA. I'm here regarding back to school night. Over the years, I have attended 55 back to school nights, 40 as a parent, and the last 15 years as the teacher in the classroom. I greet all my parents at the door, introduce myself, expecting the same courtesy in return. As a parent, I value the relationship between the teacher and my child. I always introduce myself. As a teacher, I try to make the connection between which parent goes with which student and make the parent feel welcome. I spend my night presenting my parents with pertinent information about my class and the expectations of their children. My time and attention is devoted to the parents of my students in that classroom. This year, a current member of the board came to my class at back to school night. She did not introduce herself, and when I asked, she only gave her first name. I asked which one of my students was her child, and she replied that she does not have one in my class. Imagine my surprise when I found out she does not even have a child at the high school. So I ask you, is this a new practice that the board is starting? Should I expect Board of Ed members coming to events meant specifically for the parents of students and taking time and attention away from those parents?
What was your purpose? I am proud of what I do and how I do it, but you made me and others in the room uncomfortable. Are you there to evaluate? That is not your role. That is the job of my administrators. So what other reason could you possibly have for coming into my classroom on a night that is meant for my students' parents? Fortunately, I'm not a first or second year teacher. I'm confident and capable of navigating the unexpected appearance of this board member. However, it was rude and disrespectful to both the teacher and the other parents in the room to randomly show up in my classroom on a night specifically designed for the parents of my students. Her presence was intimidating and unfair to me and made other parents in the room who recognized her uncomfortable. Afterwards, there was no follow-up, no thank you for sharing, nothing. Why were you there? There's a disconnect between what you say and your actions. You claim to respect us as educators, yet you walk into a classroom without fully disclosing who you are or why you're there. What was the agenda? Is back to school night a community open house, or is it for the parents of our students? I have never witnessed this type of behavior that I now see in our district. As a parent of former students, a longtime community member, and a teacher in our schools, it makes me sad. Your distrust and disrespect of us as professionals is overt and damaging to the students. Teachers are professional educators who spend countless hours developing and delivering appropriate curriculum for our students, writing college rec letters, attending sporting events, plays, and club activities. My children and all the other highly successful MHS graduates are a testament to the strength of our schools and the excellent work done by teachers inside and outside the classroom. We are highly trained, caring, thoughtful educators. You know your role as the Board of Ed. You are out of your lane.
Sorry, last time.
Montgomery deserves better.
My name is Tanisha Douglas. I'm part of the High School Social Studies Department. Good evening, members of the board, colleagues, and members of the community. I stand before you tonight filled with pride. Pride in our students, our staff, our administrative team, and the community that supports us. Every day, I see the dedication, the hard work, and the heart that goes into making this district a safe place where students can grow, learn, and thrive. We have so much to be proud of. And I want to start by acknowledging our shared success. At the same time, I must speak honestly about a challenge we face. Some of the conversations between the leadership team and members of this board have been difficult, not because of the different opinions, which are healthy and expected, but because at times our professional expertise has been questioned in ways that undermine our work. We absolutely respect your role and understand that your responsibility is not to rubber stamp our decisions. But when feedback or direction is offered that is not grounded in sound educational practice, it creates confusion and can lead to decisions that are not in the best interest of our students. We understand that there may not be ill intent. However, those giving the input are not educators and understandably may not see the full educational implications behind certain recommendations. So when we take the time to explain our why, the reasoning, the data, the research, and the expertise behind our decisions, we ask that you receive that with trust and collaboration. Once we have provided the clarity, we urge you not to push for changes that could weaken our programs, that disrupt our progress, that are motivated by personal agendas, or most importantly, hurt our students. Ultimately, we all share the same goal, to serve students well. We simply come to that work from different angles. Our hope is to see more members of this board demonstrate the same pride and confidence in our staff, our students, and our community that we feel every day. Because if we move forward together, grounded in mutual respect and a shared belief in our mission, there is no limit to what our students will achieve. Thank you.
Maria Kautzman, 139 Fairview Road. Again, I'm winging it, to be short. The obviously empty seats of Ms. Filak and Ms. Jernigan is very telling to me. I hope they have legitimate reasons for not being here on the last Board of Ed meeting before an election, where they would have to confront the teachers with their very negative comments that they have been saying apparently. I have not read them, but people have told me about them. And the comments on their advertising flyers for being reelected. But I think it's very telling, and I wish they were here to face the teachers who deserve their support and your support. I actually do believe you support the teachers, and I know budget prices are budgets. I pay the taxes in town, I don't have kids in the district anymore. But these are excellent teachers who have provided excellent results, and I support them as I think many of you do. So thank you.
Good evening, Jonathan Lee, 10 Tulloch Lane, Rocky Hill, and a Rocky Hill council member as well. First of all, I'd like to thank all of the members of the board for their public service. I know from personal experience the commitment required for that. I just wanted to speak a little bit about the public school system in this country. It's one of the foundations that have made this country great, and it's receiving unprecedented attacks in recent years, and in particular against teachers. As a son of a fourth grade teacher, I understand the commitment required by public school teachers. There's unprecedented attacks in social media, on the school systems, on teachers. If this continues, our country's going to go down the drain. In addition, continuously having pressures for vouchers, charter schools, etc., attacks by various school boards across the country on the public school system is just untenable. I hope you respect the school system that you support as well as the teachers. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Belmead resident. Superintendents play a vital role in preventing and addressing bullying. In our district, that responsibility belongs to Mary McLaughlin. Yet, not only does she fail to prevent bullying, she allows it. She allows it when her staff bullies and intimidates parents and even members of this board. This town pays one of the highest superintendent salaries in the county. For that kind of compensation, we have every right to expect strong leadership that keeps our children safe, treats parents and board members with respect, and protects the good image and reputation of our district. So I ask, how can she protect our kids from bullies if bullies run the school? I've spoken with few parents who considered or even withdrawn their children because of bullying. For a long time, I couldn't understand why students' bullying wasn't being addressed better. Then last month, I saw our administrators behave, and it became clear. Any organization is only as strong as its leadership. If our superintendent, Mary McLaughlin, permits the bullying of the parents and board members, how can she possibly care about stopping the bullying of students? Board members, the superintendent is your one employee. It is your duty to hold her accountable for not addressing it. Thank you.
Karen Anderson, Montgomery Township. I have a couple topics. This one is for President Todd. My question is, will you continue to publicly support candidates Orlin Pfeffer and Nunes
even though they are providing misleading and false claims about the Children First candidates that you know are both misleading and false. There's also words on social media, wherever, that they abstained. I'm sorry, that they abstained on the Hope Squad vote. They abstained in order to get more input and information, including references from other school districts, which was never provided to them. To say they are supporting suicide prevention is slanderous. Additionally, it's a very serious matter to put the topic of suicide into the hands and heads of children at all ages, from kindergarten through high school. You're putting students in vulnerable positions. How do you gauge who is really mature enough to handle coaching in this extreme situations? I have had multiple conversations with parents and kids, personally, since last board meeting, and certainly the compassion is there, but what I'm hearing is this responsibility is too large for them, too distracting for them in an already stressful world. Keep this role out of the hands of students. To say that your colleagues voted on a budget that eliminated positions, a budget that you all voted on, is plainly false. There were retirements and resignations and reassignments. To my knowledge, no one lost their job. If that's not factual, then show us who it was. I was at a board meeting and said I should know who they are. They're in our community. Who? To say that your colleagues voted on a budget that eliminated positions, they have not voted against any professional development. They are pro-educator. They are not in the pocket of any special interests. They do not think tax dollars are a money grab. The unsubstantiated and baseless claims are blatantly libelous. So, Mr. Todd, given all this information, do you continue to publicly support them? Additionally, the Children First candidates, they're open to speak to anyone, anytime, and they have spoken many times at in-town group events, not just in a forum hosted by a local biased newspaper. Another topic is the change of auditor, the vote last school board meeting. I was personally shocked to hear we've used the same auditor for 20 years. Although not applicable to public schools, Sarbanes-Oxley Act was designed to protect investors, improve accuracy and reliability of information.
That's time, thank you.
Hi, Chris Hoffman, Belmead, New Jersey. I just want to clarify a couple of things that have been going around on social media and have just now been spoken about the Hope Squad. First off, all of the information that was requested by the board was provided. Every email that asked for information, the information was given. There is all the information also on the website. That is a great place to start. There are a lot of schools in the district, a lot of schools in the state who have implemented this program, and I know for a fact that when we first approached Corey Delgado and Christine Grossman, the first thing they asked us for was a list of schools that had implemented the program. They did their due diligence, they brought it to the board, the committee did their due diligence. I'm sorry, I'm trying to. This program is not a program that puts children in a position to counsel other children. First off, it is an after-school activity. It is an activity where parents can tell their children, I don't want you to be part of this, which would be sad, but that is their right. Secondly, the children are taught how to deal with the things that they're already it's already happening to them. Their friends are coming to them saying, I'm gonna hurt myself. I don't feel right. I am sad all the time. This is going on. They go to their peers. This program gives those peers the words and the knowledge that they need to get that student to the correct adult to help them. This is not a program that puts kids in a position where they have undue stress. Yes, a CDC report in 2018 had concerns. The Hope Squad went back, they addressed those concerns, they fixed the small things that were causing those concerns, and it's been fixed. So to pull information from that long ago and try and say that this is a reason to not move forward was just grasping at straws. So, yes, there's been a lot of misinformation, and I just wanted to try and clarify that. I'm sorry, obviously. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Lana Samble, 14 Edgewood Drive. I just wanted to follow, my husband already spoke, he got cut off, and I just sort of wanted to follow up to make sure that what we were wanting to express here was clear. There was a Jewish Student Alliance Club formed 4 years ago. It had not been funded, it has not been funded this entire time. I understand with the negotiations, things have changed. However, in 4 years, it hasn't been funded, and my understanding is there are several other cultural clubs that are funded. And the other thing that is upsetting is it's not even listed under the co-curricular activities. When you go onto the MHS website, it's not even listed there. And we just want our kids to have a safe and welcoming place where they can find community and comfort in hard times and celebrations and moments of Jewish joy. And, for those 4 years, it was a place that these kids could go. And a lot of the time, it was just, whatever, eating Hamantash around Purim or whatever, nothing like life-changing. But when they needed that club, like after October 7th, it was there. And when they needed it again yesterday, when the hostages were released and they wanted to be around their peers who were feeling the same kind of joy, it wasn't there. And, that's very upsetting to us. So I hope something can be done about that.
Hi, good evening. Jason Sullivan, Montgomery High School, Science Supervisor. I wanted to first give a thank you to the Board of Education. You have on many occasions allowed me to come up here and talk about my students and brag about them. I appreciate those opportunities. It's probably one of the biggest joys I have in this job is to celebrate those things about the students. I would encourage us to do more of that and bring them. I would also like to kind of go through a couple things that I've learned in my job. This is my 24th year at Montgomery High School. I had intended to be here for 4, maybe, but I think Mr. Grundy spoke to that. It becomes a family. It becomes a place where my residence most days is Montgomery High School, sometimes on weekends, and I enjoy it. I like what I do. We do it with a lot of passion. And I've learned so much, and I think that's why I've stayed and done this. So a couple of the experiences I'll highlight from some people who are in this room. I got to work with like 3rd grade teachers and elementary school teachers, and for the first 14 years in this district, I never stepped foot in Village Elementary School. Boy, was I missing out. As I learned about the staff there and their talents and what they were able to do, and some things that really stuck with me, they modeled everything. If they want students to do something and learn something, they show them, they teach them how. I watched them get up from a table in various different ways and teach the students how to go over to the carpet and have a group meeting. And I was stunned, like, we don't do that in high school. Maybe we should. Although I did see it this last week. They're super talented, and I think that we have a lot to learn from them. Question, just thinking in a reflective conversation, how are we modeling that amongst our community? How is this Board of Education modeling it to each other? What are the norms if you had an anchor chart on the side of this room that you would find in most of the elementary school classrooms? What would you see on that? Would you be doing those things that the students that we have in front of us, that we want them to learn and grow with? I see that in their elementary school. I've seen the collaboration happen in the 6th grade classroom that has been so kind to me to allow me into their classroom, to work with their students, and just give of themselves daily. Just because they didn't gain anything from it, they were annoyed by me being in their meetings, and it was a joy. I just learned from them. They're very, very talented, and they work really hard together. So I think Montgomery deserves a lot. They have a lot already from their
Sorry.
teachers. So thank you, and good night.
Mr. President, I'm sorry to interrupt. Mr. President, I'm really sorry, I know this is unprecedented, but a few years back we were counseled to not be on our phones and to show respect with our body language, with eye contact when people were speaking. And I am very, very distracted by board members that are not listening to the people that are on the podium speaking. I think it's really important for us to be present at the moment, so if we could just acknowledge that and make sure that all board members are listening intently and are showing respect to the people that are on the podium, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, Corey Delgado again. Speaking to you as the anti-bullying coordinator, I just want to make sure the last word about bullying in this district might come from someone who is qualified to tell you about bullying in this district. And I'll keep it brief. Our superintendent, Mrs. Mary McLaughlin, does not support bullying in this district. Thank you.
Hello, Heather Keenan-Beatty. I'm also up here because I'm a little bit disturbed about the constant and persistent messages from social media that are now infiltrating our day-to-day work. We spend a lot of time working with our students about how to navigate critical information, verify fact, separate it from opinion. To go with what Mr. Delgado said, know the difference between bullying and not. And sometimes facts are hard to hear. I understand that I've been the recipient of many harsh criticisms that may exist on social media that I choose to not partake in. I understand that there are people here tonight who have called for me to be reprimanded. And now my boss, my superintendent, is being called a bully because she stands up for what's right for kids and for staff. And that I can't allow. So the baseless attacks on people that do the right thing every single day, that put in long hours, that show up when nobody else knows they're here, that come to games, to clubs, to activities, that go to important milestones in the community, whether they be funerals or moments of joy. And we want to take swings at them because we don't like facts. I really need to question what we're teaching our kids. Every decision I make is based on one foundation. Is this what's best for kids and staff? Will this create the room for progress? When we stray from that, when we steer away, we're going down a dangerous path. We shouldn't be up here to beat our chests and just say, that made me proud and I got the last word in. We should be up here doing what's right for kids. That's lost. Not lost by the sea of educators here. Not lost by the people who show up every single day. Not lost by the people who believe they should be paid for the free things they're doing. I will tell you, as a proud Jewish woman, I support our Jewish Student Alliance. I always have. It's on our list to be funded. We need a contract settled. I cannot ask staff to keep doing more with less and less. And I will not allow my superintendent to be defamed either. She provides the opportunities for us to do more and more every day. When we come to her and ask what's best for kids, she says to us, find a way, make it happen. When we get attacked for doing what's best for kids, she's there to lift us up. So I'm not going to let someone call her a bully today, because I'm going to pay back the same favor that I've been taught over my entire career and stand up for what's right. And we are all correct. Montgomery deserves better. Thank you.
Are there any other comments from members of the public? Right now, Ms. Anderson.
I have a long other list, but I'll send you an email. that, I'll send you a copy too if you'd like. This performance, I'm sorry, I was here last school board meeting, and the behavior, the tone, the way the board was treated was very different than this evening. I'm sorry, I feel like somebody had a makeover. I've talked to many people. When I was thinking about what I was going to say today, because we were talking about the board not trusting the staff. That was the big topic. I don't trust, they don't trust us, they don't trust us. We just need to trust that the teachers and the administration is doing everything because they know what they're supposed to do and they do it right. Just trust. And then I was thinking, well, yeah, it's trust but verify. It's, but somehow verification and questioning turned into like a challenge. You don't want too many questions. There's like this line that was crossed. And so I was talking to people about why don't more people come up and express their frustration of what they see from the administration and come here and speak, because I feel like I am the only one. 2 points about that. One is a lot of people voted for board member Filek. A lot of people voted for board member Oleka Jernigan. A lot of people voted for John Sangiovanni. Didn't get enough votes to get on the board, but he got over 4,000 votes in the last election. And he's in the line with what I'm saying, I believe, here. So I'm not just one voice. But when I talk to people and ask them, why don't they want to come? I don't spoon feed them, but they say fear of retribution. Oh, please, thank you. Fear of retribution. I was on a phone call today. I was not talking about fear of retribution. I said, why don't you come out? You cannot believe me. I mean, I'm not making this up, okay? I'm not dragging these words out of people. But there is something about people that have concerns about their kids, have concerns about approaching certain administration, they're not comfortable. So take that into account, that not all the voices feel like they have a safe space when they walk in here, or, I mean, they don't walk in here, but they don't walk in here because they don't feel like they have a safe space. They feel like things will get worse for their child. So, that's all I have. I'll send you the rest because I did have more, but I only have 13 seconds. Take it, thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Hearing and seeing none, public comment portion is over. Mr. Chair.
I just wanted to address one comment and clarify regarding procedures of the board and the administration, so that it's clear that while the board has to hear public comment as part of the procedures for a public board meeting, and the public can make comments on whatever topics they would like to bring before the board and in particular the administration do not have control over what members of the public say. The statement at the beginning of the board meeting before the public comment indicates obviously that there are limitations in terms of your time. You have 3 minutes. The board intends to close comments by a certain time in those pieces. They also make recommendation that the members of the public consider not making comments that are defamatory or derogatory. However, those are not things that the board can require of members of the public, and it is not something that the superintendent can require, as she is not the person who oversees the administration of the board. And so I wanted to be clear that in considering what the members of the public says, that is not something that the administration has a role over in the board meetings.
Thank you, Ms. Cherry. Any new items from the floor, from the board members?
I have a question, not a new item. For the presentation Mary presented on the 4-year enrollment one, and I appreciate RBA sent the demographic and enrollment reports over the past few years. That was helpful. So also from the numbers that you presented, we can see it's declining, right? And we also mentioned at the last board meetings, we're the only school district in Greater Princeton area keeps declining for the enrollment. So to better understand the number, do you have the number of the students who withdraw from our school district for those years that you presented?
Not with me right now, but that is a report that could be run. I thought that that was shared out at ACI, how many kids withdrew.
No. So how many kids withdraw is they have to fill in a form called withdrawal form, and that number hasn't been shared.
So I'm not sure what committee would be best to bring this.
Do you want to defer to ACI and show that number?
I don't know how it's ACI. Wait, do you know which committee that it's to?
I think that you should ask the chair of ACI if she'd like to bring that forth to the chair, to the assistant superintendent of curriculum and the director of enrollment. That usually is how, again, we do things by committee, so.
I wasn't sure that's a ACI question because that's enrollment and Mary today she presented here. So it's kind of like follow-up question because we want to know how many kids per year they withdraw from our school district since their parents have to fill in that form.
For what purpose?
Understand the trend, enrollment trend.
I don't see the same trend, I guess, that you see then.
Oh, can we pull the number so you see the trend is increasing?
No, I see that it's staying steady year over year when you check it with the cohort. So your third grade cohort in 22-23 became larger in fourth grade in 23-24, larger in fifth grade in 24-25, and then larger again this year.
I think
So-
we're talking about different numbers. I was talking about the total enrollment of the whole school district. Not
Right, so those numbers are derived from the rest of the numbers that are there. Okay, so, and then there has been a total enrollment decline, which is also very easily understood with the difference in the kindergarten first and second grade numbers compared to the outgoing juniors, seniors, and last year's graduates. I found that very clear.
Okay, so
very
I
clear,
just
and
want to understand.
I don't
Yeah,
think
that's
that-
your message.
Right.
It's clear.
I don't hear the board, either the board president or a committee chair would need to request further details at this point.
Mrs. Ryan, I just want to understand the question clearly. So you are asking, when the students leave the school, there is a form they fill out, and based on that form, you want to know how many kids left.
Yes.
And I'm sure you may even want to know the reason why they left.
In the form won't say the reason, but they have to indicate where the child will be educated.
Okay.
At this point, I just want to know about the number of the kids withdrawn from our school district.
And you want this for every year, starting from what year?
Because, well, like Mary presented, starting 2022, and from the New Jersey School Performance Report, actually it was starting 2016, our school district total enrollment started to steadily decline, total enrollment. And comparing to other school districts, they all remain steadily or grow up. Therefore, that's why I want to know about the number of the students who withdraw every year from our school district. We don't have to trace back to 9 years ago, but I think it would be helpful to understand the number starting now.
So the VA said there is no report, so that is something that would have to be created. And so before we do that, before I ask for a motion for you to introduce that, what is the purpose of asking for this information? It was asked that, you didn't answer. What is your purpose for this information?
So the parents, they have to fill in the withdrawal forms. You're saying
Correct, you have
they
said that,
will
but-
collect the information,
but what
but
is
they
the-
don't count the total number of this information.
Okay, but again, what is the purpose of you seeking that information?
Understanding the trend.
Trend of what?
Total enrollment trend.
So for what though? Like, what's it going to change in the school district?
It's just present trend. I think it's important for the public to know about the numbers, right?
How will that information help our students further or our school district to progress further?
For families, they need to know about the trend, just like to know about the class size.
So
and
Dr. Wayne, so this seems to be a report that you are seeking, so if you want this report, please state it in a motion and we will vote.
I won't make a motion tonight, but I want to show that we collect information, but we don't have the number. That's my understanding.
Okay, if you do not make a motion, we will not discuss it again. So make a motion to request that information. If it's seconded and voted
That's
on,
my
we will
comment.
move forward.
Before you do that, I have just a small question. So I'm just saying that in that report, if we find that students are moving out because they're going to a private school, if there is no reason in that form, we would not know why they're
we
leaving.
would not know.
That's correct, right?
No, but we would know about the number starting, for example, when you see the trend, like maybe 4 years ago, 50 kids pulled out, and 3 years ago, 100, maybe another year, 150. When you start to see that big number increase, that's the trend. Usually we start with the numbers and then
If
we
you
can
look at
understand
the
that.
report, the decrease is because we're graduating numbers in the 400s and enrolling in the 100s.
Yeah, that's the trend of our total school district trend keeps decreasing, right? And we can compare our school district with nearby school district, and that's slightly different story.
For what purpose?
Understand
I'm lost
why
on the
our school
purpose.
district is the only school district total enrollment keeps going down.
I'm gonna make 2 points. 2 points. One, I compared us to a similar school in Somerset County, a similar demographic. I don't want to mention the name. Their enrollment is down further than ours. We're holding water, and what should matter is the kids that are attending here. Mr. Delgado, he puts a report out every spring on how our students do, how they're performing thanks to these teachers, what colleges they're going to. I wish my kid had these teachers and had these opportunities. So let's focus on who's here right now.
It's okay, you say collect the data, but you don't want to count the total number. That's okay too.
It's something internal. We could try to work on that. That's not something we could hit a button and run right now. It's not an NJDOE.
No, it's not.
May
Yes.
may I
That's
just interject
correct.
here a second, because I think I understand your question in terms of you're looking for trends to see if we are losing students, right? So again, I think that Superintendent McLaughlin was very clear about expressing that the trend that we are seeing is we have to look at it by cohort. So if you look at, and the diagrams up, can you please follow with me? I would really appreciate it, thank you. So if you're in kindergarten and your number is 215 in the year 22-23, the number in first grade is now 256.
No,
That's an increase of
58, then 269, then 283. I have a color.
Thank you, I'm sorry, I can't. But that's the trend that we need to be following, not the total number of students. Does that make sense?
Like
Because
first grade went 238, then in second grade, those same kids was 260, then in third grade, they were 276, and then in fourth grade, there was 295. It keeps increasing over
That's
the
the
years.
trend that I think you want to look at, right, to see if we're losing
But when you're
students.
graduating 432 kids and only registering 183 kindergarten students, that's the enrollment drop. That's where it is. The other, like for how many kids withdraw, we have kids come in at every grade. They just don't come in at kindergarten. They come in throughout their entire experience
I understand
here.
everything you say. It's okay. You don't have the number of the total, the students withdraw. That's okay, I said.
But our cohorts are holding strong. Our replacement grades are not. They're different pieces of data.
And I want to be careful that the rhetoric is not, we are losing students. You know, that's important. We have to really put the data to the statement. So the statement that we're losing students is incorrect. That needs to be clear.
No, and our demographic study that is on the public website even shows the births in the district are down. So the number of children being born overall is not, it's going to start increasing. Yeah, that's a national trend.
You can check that at U.S. Bureau of Census data too for the nearby county and nearby township too.
At this time, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second, yes.
It's been probably moved and second. All those in favor state aye.
Everybody, please
All
go
those
out and
opposed?
vote in November before our next board meeting.
We are adjourned.